Well, we're not even a month away from Georgia winning the national championship, and the discussion has already started, understandably so, about Smart getting a contract extension. Here's what Josh Brooks had to say. He's the athletic director. He's been at the athletic director at Georgia for about like a year and a little bit. Has it even been a year for Josh? Anyway, he said we're in a situation where you've got a coach who wants to be here, an administration that wants him here. It's just working through the process. It's not something we put a hard timeline on, but we're in active talks. Talks are going well. So let's keep in mind that Kirby, when he got to Georgia, was making just under $4 million a year, about $3.75 million. That was in 16. After the 17 season, it was on average about a $7 million a year contract for the life of that contract. I think that contract, yeah, has 3 years, so it's 22, 23, 24. So it has 3 years remaining on it at that level. My suspicion, now, this is all just Dean Leggie's math, um, is that, I mean, obviously he's going to get a bump. The question is how long the contract will go for because that's how much the contract is worth. My suspicion is it's going to be around $10 million a year on average. It might not be 10 million at the start, but then the longevity of the thing is a good question. I mean, Kirby Smart leaving to go to another institution, I don't see that. I think he wants to be at Georgia. I think that's pretty clear. Raising his family there, it's an opportunity that he and his wife want to take advantage of. Um, that's my speculation, of course. But the longevity of the contract, I think, doesn't necessarily matter because I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. But it would lock in the money for him. It would be due to him unless he's fired for cause, which seems hard to believe, but happens occasionally. I want to take this break. Make sure you're signing up for DAWGSTRUCTION. You do not want to miss out on this first run of books. It's going to get out to you in about, I don't know, maybe at the latest about 4 weeks from now it will be mailed out. It could be 3 weeks from now. Part of the issue is it's at the printer right now, and I can't know until we get a firm number back if it will be late February or early March. But you don't want to miss out on it. Make sure you're clicking down below. It's a really exciting look back at Kirby as well as the 2021 season. 80 plus pages of full color images and storytelling. You're just not going to get anywhere else. What was the name of the play that really locked down Georgia's championship season with AD Mitchell? You'll find out if you buy DAWGSTRUCTION. It's right down below. Georgia's been very fiscally conservative with the way that it has handled its finances. And well, obviously, fiscally means financially, but it's it's been their prudence on that front has set them apart from their peers, and I'm talking about Auburn specifically, but also Tennessee. Look at the mess that Florida State's in. They can't make these kind of deals. I mean, Georgia Tech is in a total nightmare financial situation. Georgia's not. And Georgia, yeah, they have a noticeably better and higher dollar athletic department than Auburn. That's true, but they're not so far apart that Georgia could never get in the position that Auburn's in. Auburn continues to make mistakes with hirings and contracts. Hiring Kirby Smart, extending this contract to a 10-year, $100 million total contract, that would not be reckless. We're entering a time. First of all, he's a proven head coach. He is either I don't think you can make the argument that he's the best head coach in college football, but he did just win the national championship. You could make the argument that he's the second best. I'm not. That's not what the point of this video is. When you look around at the marketplace and you see the highest paid head coaches, and I just know two of them off the top of my head are Dabo and Jimbo Fisher. Well, you really can't compare what's happened over these last couple of years with Kirby to those two guys. I mean, Dabo's had better run than Jimbo. Jimbo is stealing money at Texas A&M right now, but he has the capability of doing that because of the TV contracts and the media obligations, the money that comes in to Texas A&M from partners like CBS and Disney. So Georgia's on a very good financial footing. I don't know what Kirby's end game is here. He's in year 6 of, however long he's going to coach. I wrote something earlier today about Steve Spurrier, and he was only at Florida for 11 seasons, I think it was. It might have been 12. I might have counted wrong, but it wasn't 20. And he was at Carolina for almost as long as he was at Florida. I just, right now, I don't see how that would happen with Kirby, where he would leave to go another school. So for Georgia, I think what you'd be saying in this is, hey, listen, you're our guy, and we want you to be here. But he's not looking to go anywhere. I mean, these two seem to be married together for sure. Um, and I think making him somewhere between 10 and $11 million a year number is appropriate. Now, you know, Brian Kelly just signed at LSU, and that contract um, is a 10-year, $95 million contract. Well, obviously, he has not just 2 wins over Brian Kelly, but he has a national championship over Brian Kelly. He's got, just better longevity at the place he's at. Uh, I I don't really know what makes the most sense um, in the marketplace, because the marketplace can really just be absolutely skewed in a way that is stupid. Um, Nick, I think, earned that 10 million. It's a little shy of $10 million a year for Nick Saban at Alabama, but there's a reason for that. Ryan Day is at 7.6 million. Mario Cristobal just signed at Miami, and that is reportedly at $8 million. James Franklin at $8.5 million. Penn State, listen, he's stealing money from you. You've entered into a bad contract. Now it's too late, but you've entered into a bad contract. Dabo is at the same number, but that's a 10-year, $93 million. But he fits their culture. He that makes sense to me. I mean, I think he's overpaid, but it's the right fit. David Shaw, I mean, Stanford's a private school. It can do whatever it wants. If it's paying him $9 million a year, they're definitely getting money taken from them. Jimbo's at $9 million. He's raised the level of profile of Texas A&M, but he's not delivered results. $9 million, he's getting overpaid for now. Mel Tucker's at $9.5 million. So is Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly is a proven head coach that's a winner. He's going to have to deliver at LSU. We'll see. I think Michigan State overpaid for Mel Tucker, but in that moment, that's what made the most sense. Nick is at right on top of 10 million, and Lincoln Riley is at 10 million or so. Obviously, SC is a private school, so we don't know all their information. But and Alabama, the state legislature in Alabama, in its infinite wisdom, really suppresses freedom of information. So congratulations, guys. That makes a lot of sense. Of course, Georgia does that too. It's just not as bad as Alabama. It's really just a stupid, stupid, stupid thing. I mean, these are public institutions. There needs to be light shed on these things. But anyway, I think that so the marketplace is somewhere around $10 million a year. And does Georgia want to say, hey, we're going to do 11? It makes sense to do 11, and we'll take it from there. I don't know. I don't think 11 or 12 is out of the question in terms of, let's just say you could do an 8-year contract, 12 million a year. That would get you close to 100. I don't know. You know, I just don't. I think he's going to have another contract extension by the time that we get to the end of this one. So, talking about the new one. So it's not that it's irrelevant. It isn't irrelevant. It's important. It matters. But what you're doing with this, if you're Georgia, is you're setting the mark down. You're saying, hey, this is important to us as an institution. This draws students in. It is a marketing. It's a 3-hour marketing bonanza every 15 times a year. That's a lot of that's you're getting paid for it. I mean, you're not even paying for it in the traditional sense. So it's it is not out of the question at all to have $100 million contract from Georgia, from A&M, from Alabama. I think those schools can easily absorb that, particularly with the money that's about to come in from TV. I don't think there's going to be a rush to do this. The last time I remember I was out visiting recruits in the spring. I think it was in late April or middle April or so, maybe May. The last time that it happened in 18. Um, I can't recall. But all this does is sets a marker down saying, hey, football is important to us for this reason. And for that reason, we are paying the head coach who's been successful here this amount of money. I don't know what it will be. I think the range is anywhere from 10 to 12 a year. I don't know if the contract will be a $100 million contract, a $96 million contract, or a $120 million contract. But I think that my point is that you're doing this it's an opportunity to sell to the public once more why your institution cares. And it cares enough that it's going to make this investment. Now, Auburn did that. They did that with Gus Malzahn, and it never worked. LSU did that with Ed Orgeron, and it did not work. Um, I mean, Florida did that with Dan Mullen almost a year ago at this moment, and it didn't work. And so you can get in these situations where these contracts are bad for the schools. A lot of times the contracts are bad for the schools. Auburn has been mismanaged, and it's been mismanaged for a long time. No hate, just calling it what it is. Florida, you can't really say that. I will never say that Georgia's been mismanaged. I think Georgia, for a long time, is so conservative that it's not willing to go for stuff. And I mean that with baseball, basketball, and the facilities at those places. That's the one thing. It's all got to be balanced out. You got to be careful because basketball and baseball don't bring in revenue. Football does. And please don't post that they do because I get it. They might bring in, a handful of $1 million, but they don't make the bus go. It's football. So this is a smart move. This is the move. And, you know, to lock him in, there's no locking in. If Kirby wants to leave, he can leave. You know, it's just these coaches, there's nothing keeping them there except treating them right or what they view as being treated right. So the money, I think this is going to sound bad too. The money's irrelevant. I mean, he's got enough money. His children will have generational wealth. Everybody in the Smart family will be fine. This is about navigating the next 10 years. And whatever that may be, is this a $96 million eight-year deal, or is this a 12 million a year for 10 years deal? I don't know, but it is saying to recruits and to um, people paying attention that we care about football and we care about football this amount, and here's what we're doing with our head coach. Make sure if you're still watching to go to click DAWGSTRUCTION right there. I really appreciate everybody supporting me on that. We've had a tremendous amount of sales, and get in on this first batch. Make sure you get in on this first batch. We'll see you on the website.